right? So today we are talking about
crafting your dream lifestyle.
right. Now, it sounds like a lofty title,
Mm-hmm.
but it actually happens with a consistent, deliberate attention to your thoughts,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So the first thing I do every morning, and I do this especially when I realize that I'm getting out of sync. Like if I have a few days that just feel like things are going wrong and I don't really understand why, it's always because I have not journaled in the morning for 10 minutes. And I've been talking to Syra about journaling since we met. Because what I do is in the morning, I open up my computer, I just take 10 minutes, I have my coffee. It's like my favorite time of the day. No offense, Alfez. Where I...
He's like, I do so much for this woman, and that's when she cares about the most is her journaling moment.
And I write down my dream life, my dream day. I write down how my dream emotions. That's the most important thing. I write down exactly how I want to feel for the rest of the day. Usually it's something like, I want to feel eager about the day. I want to feel excited. I want to feel passionate. I want to feel like good things are coming to me. Like I really know that my life is working out. And so I write about that and I really get into the emotions of it. I really get to feeling good. And then I start my day on such a high note.
And when you don't do that?
When I don't do that, I'm just like, I haven't had enough coffee. I'm hungry. Like that's me.
So for me, what happens is starts the night before.
Okay.
So if I can get into bed by about 10:15, lights out, then I wake up so refreshed and happy and like optimistic, and then I do my journaling, like you taught me. I write it in an actual, like a physical journal.
Nice.
But if I go to bed, like if I get into bed at 10:15 and then go on my phone and like start looking at my apps and start going on Facebook and like start watching videos, and then all of a sudden it's 11:15. And then I go to bed. I wake up in the morning like, oh, why is it morning? And then that's the first thought I have. And so in the law of attraction, they talk about the first thought you have. Like you think a thought for about 19 seconds and it builds enough momentum for another thought to attach to it, and another thought, and another thought, and another thought. And all of a sudden you're in this snowball of thoughts and spiral of thoughts where it's like you could either wake up like, hello world, or snooze button.
And I would argue that either way you wake up, you can always, even if you wake up like, oh, snooze button, you can always change that. Because the process of changing it takes about 5 to 10 minutes.
And it's on you. Okay?
Yeah.
So what I've noticed is like I'll wake up and I'll snooze. Some days I'll snooze button and I'll be I'll snooze button and I'll be like fine. Other days I'll snooze button and I'll be grumpy. And the days I'm grumpy, the kids are acting out. Yeah. They're not listening. They're being difficult. It's hard. We're late for school. We're late for the meeting. Blah, 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 blah. On the days I'm able to turn it around, the kids still might be annoying because, they're kids and they don't want to be woken up in the morning or whatever. But it doesn't affect me. And I'm just like this happy mom. It's like getting my children ready in the morning and just like getting to school, saying hi to the neighbor, like just a different me.
Yeah.
And then my whole day goes different.
So that's the important part, is that crafting your dream lifestyle has very little to do with outside factors and everything to do with how you feel. Because you can go through the exact same day feeling like crap and the exact same day feeling great. Nothing will have changed outside of yourself, but at the end of one of those days, you're going to be in a freaking fantastic mood. Right. And you're going to make things happen that wouldn't normally happen. Maybe you'll go out on a date with your partner. Maybe you'll watch a show that just like rejuvenates you. Maybe you'll end your day feeling fantastic. And the whole day will have been a blast anyway, so who cares? And
I find that when I'm in that better space, better opportunities come. So I was telling you about yesterday at the gym, right? So I was just like leaving the gym probably with a smile on my face because I felt really good because I pushed myself a little harder than normal. And I was like smiling, and I saw this woman who I've seen a couple times, and we struck up a conversation, which turned into like another conversation, which turned into going outside to the parking lot for a conversation, which turned into, hey, let's hang out tomorrow, right? Yeah. So it's like, because I was in a good space, I was like in that open space, now somebody's coming and talking to me. Yeah. Whereas if I was like, like who wants to talk to that person?
Nobody. I've noticed that a lot, actually, since I started this whole process of caring more about my emotions than about anything else, and just being on a path to feel good. Like my journey every day is just feel good. Like how much can I feel good in a day? That's what I'm always measuring. So since I've been doing that, I find that I'm always kind of just like smiling. Yeah. And people used to come up to me and be like, oh, I saw you out, but you looked like you were angry, so I didn't come up to you. And I would say to them, that's just my face.
That's just my face. I just have resting bitch face, okay? I just like to look like that.
But now I'm like smiling to myself all the time, and I'm thinking people are probably looking at me thinking that she's crazy.
My husband says that to me sometimes, like, you need to change that face. Because, like, when I'm not happy with something, it shows very clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when he says to me, you need to change that face, I'm like, oh, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? Why does my face demonstrate all of that? Because sometimes you're not even aware. I'm not even aware of what's happening inside of me, but everybody else can see it.
Yes.
Ugh. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. But it's a good reminder that
Right.
something's going on that you're just not paying attention to. And that's, I think, what we need to talk about is paying attention to how you're feeling.
Right.
Because we don't know how important it is until we know how important it is.
So here's a difficult scenario, okay, that I'll give you as a solve this problem, okay? So I have a friend who's recently going through a breakup. So every day's bad. Like, she's trying to feel better. She's doing all the things that she thinks she should be doing to feel better. Like, she's meeting other people. Like, she's going out with friends. She's, meeting other people, dating other people, hanging out with her family. All the things that she thinks would help in a breakup. But she still feels bad.
Because actions do not equate changes. Real changes start from inside, and then they move their way out.
So how do you change?
Good.
How do you change when you're in, like, that heartbreak space? How do you actually shift away from that?
So first, I think the first step is to say to yourself, okay, I'm not feeling good. And instead of beating myself up about not feeling good, I'm going to be really kind to myself and say that, yes, I've been through something. And I'm going to take a chance and look at it in a different way. I've been through something. I've been through a relationship that didn't work out. So what I learned from that is that I know that I want a relationship that is going to feel a specific way. But in order to get that relationship that feels that way, I need to first feel that way about myself. So I'm going to take some time. I'm going to take however long it takes, and I'm going to be really, really kind to myself all day, every day. I'm going to let myself have enough space to breathe, and I'm going to start to think about how I want to feel rather than how I do feel. So when we can say, okay, I'm feeling bad, and we can stay in it for a while, and then there comes a point when we say, I'm tired of feeling bad, and I want to feel good. When you reach that point, then you really start to think about those feelings. What do I want to feel? I want to feel good. What does that mean? I want to feel excited about something. I want to feel like I believe that good things are coming to me. I want to feel like I believe that life has something to offer me. I believe that I've gone through this for a reason. And you work your way through those emotions until you're really in that good place. And from that place, no matter how long it takes you to get there, from that place, you'll start to act in ways that are inspired. You'll start to say, maybe one day you'll wake up and you really feel like going to Starbucks for a coffee just because. And you'll follow that feeling. But what it sounds like your friend might be doing is that she's feeling really bad and she's saying to herself, okay, I need to feel better. And I know that people have said that going to Starbucks and getting a coffee is going to makes them feel better. So that's what I'm going to do. So she goes to Starbucks, but she hasn't worked on those feelings inside first. So she goes to Starbucks and guess what? She's still miserable.
Right.
But now she's miserable at Starbucks.
So one of the things she's trying is, well, I don't know if she's trying it on purpose, but one of the things she's doing right now is doing some like updates and renos to her house, like very minor renos. Like she got a new barn door, and okay, now if you're watching this, you'll totally know who you are. Sorry, friend, but she's making some changes to her space, right? And when she talks about that, she's like totally excited, right? She's like, it like lights her up. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do as her friend is just like talk about that stuff with her.
Yes.
And not be like, oh, how's the breakup?
And that's really important because what you're doing for her is you're giving her that space to feel great and to talk about things that make her feel good. But you can't fix her because when she goes back to her house and she's not talking about the renos or thinking about the renos, it's on her what she's thinking about, right? So she has to be doing the work to think about things that excite her and to know that it's okay to feel bad for a little while, but the more time she spends feeling bad, the more likely it is that she's going to spend even more time feeling bad. You know?
So I guess, I'm like a helper, right? Like by profession and by like nature, which sometimes is a problem. But I would say what I'm hearing you say, Jenna, is that it's not just about, like as her friend, even I have to look at myself and where I'm focused on, right? Am I focusing on her pain and her difficulty and then that's dragging me down? Or am I actually celebrating the good things about her life? And so it's like, I can't change her, but I can change the way I think about her.
Right. And you can also shed some light, like you can also, knowing that talking about the renos makes her feel really good, you can guide her as someone that she trusts to say, listen, when we're done this conversation and you go back to your house, what are some of the things you're going to be thinking about? And help her see the process a little bit more clearly because you might be on a different level than she is. Maybe you have a little bit of insight, some simple tips that she can take and use that to change her life. But you don't need to spend time worrying about her, because worrying about someone is sending a lot of negative energy their way.
Right.
What you can do is just say, I'm so proud of her that she's going through this and she's going to make it through, and she's such a strong person, and look what she's doing with her life, and look how she's really brightening up even though this thing is happening. And you can start focusing on what's really good about her. And just by thinking about that, you'll treat her a little bit different.
Right. And when I talk about her, right?
Yeah.
So when people ask me, oh, how's she doing?
Yeah.
I can be like, she's handling it really well,
Yeah.
and she's doing these renos, and she's really out, she's meeting people, rather than, oh, it's really bad.
Totally. Exactly.
Because then all those other people are now going to be like, oh, be cherry, or poor thing, it's really bad. Right?
So there is actually a lot you can do, and a lot of it's behind the scenes. And your friend may never know that that's what you're doing.
Well, now she will if she watches our show. Sorry, friend.
But you can all do that for your friends as well. Instead of spending your time and energy worrying about situations, and this is part of crafting your dream lifestyle, right? Because you don't want to spend your time worrying about situations. You want to be out there living, And
that's the thing, is as our lives get better, sometimes, like, what I notice is other people, like, okay, so it's like my life, I've taken it to this next level, and I have lots of cool friends at this level, new people I'm meeting, but I'm still connected to other people who are not there and who are struggling. Yeah. And so how to be compassionate towards them, to stay connected to them, but also not to let that story pull me back down, right? That's something that I'm in right now.
Yes. And I think it's important to give yourself permission to do whatever it takes to stay in a good mood for as long as possible. So if you're saying to yourself, I need to really connect with these people, that's fine. Put a time limit on it. Maybe every Saturday or every Wednesday can be your day where you connect with people that you normally don't want to have that much to do with, right? So you kind of call them on that day, and you also know that you're going to give yourself time after the conversation to get into a better vibe, right? Because sometimes people can bring us really down, and it takes a while to get back into that vibe. So if you have a plan where you're saying, okay, I'm going to call these people because it's important to me to call them, it's important for me to stay in touch. But then know that after you're done with that conversation, you're going to work on yourself. You're going to give yourself a few hours to just feel good again, because your feelings are so vital to the state of your life. Yeah. They are so vital. And a lot of times when you haven't researched like the law of attraction and different things that we've researched, you don't realize just how important it is. You think that, I can just shut my feelings off, or I'm not supposed to feel bad feelings. But by doing that, you're actually feeling worse. Because you're not letting the bad feelings guide you to a better place. Right. You're just saying, oh, bad feelings are bad. Bad feelings are bad. I'm bad for thinking bad thoughts and feeling bad things. And then you're staying down there, and it's not doing the opposite.
How many of us do that, right? We're like, oh, I know I'm supposed to be thinking positive, so stop thinking this bad thought. But then, and you kind of pretend to do something else, but you're still kind of thinking it. The universe agrees with us. Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know how to turn that function off. One of these days, we'll figure that out. One more unprofessional thing we do on this show, it's full of unprofessional moments. We're the anti-professional.
Because we're not here to be your, how-to girls for doing this and doing that. And we're just talking.
We're just hanging out. And you know what? There's lots of awesome books that do that. There's other people that do that.
But we're just chilling.
But we just have, phone calls coming up in the middle of our...
This is real life, people.
Real life. Well, and when we started doing this, what I love about this... Okay, I'm going to brag about our show for a minute. Sorry, we have to do it. Is that, for me, it's so much fun. Yeah. You're tuning in to the exact conversation that we were just having an hour ago. Yeah. And now you just get to watch it.
It's so true.
Right?
That's what's fun. It takes us 5 hours to tape because we're just talking for 4 hours.
We should turn on the computer. Yeah, let's just turn that on and other people can watch some of this.
But it's because these are life-changing conversations. And when I became a therapist, I knew that I was going to be having conversations that were going to change lives, but I didn't realize how. I never really gave too much thought to it. I just knew that when I grew up, I was going to be paid to talk to people. That's all I knew.
Shut up, Jenna.
Is that what you thought too?
Can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So when I was a kid, my report cards would come back, and every single report card was like, excellent, 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 talks too much in class, talks too much in class. Every report card. And I remember my mom sitting me down and being like, Syra, you're really smart, you're doing really well in school, but your teachers say you talk too much in class. And you're going to have to do well in school. And I said, I just have to find a job that's going to pay me to talk.
Perfect.
What? Weird.
Yeah,
Same weird conversation.
Yeah. I didn't talk too much. I just I was the listener. I think that's the thing. So I would be like, I remember being in the stairwell of my kindergarten. I went to a Montessori school till grade 5. So when I was like in grades 3 and 4 and 5, I would be in the stairwell talking to my classmates about like their lives and like their parents' divorces and stuff like that. And we would just be like having these conversations. And so ever since then, I knew that that's what I needed to do. You were like
therapizing at grade 3?
With my endless wisdom.
Therapist with her little glasses and her notepad.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I really didn't like doing schoolwork, but my teachers thought that I was like such a good kid that I would get away with being like, oh yeah, I did my homework. I don't know where I left it. And they'd be like, oh, that's okay, Jenna.
Hi.
Yeah, so I learned from that age.
But you still got your master's, it's alright.
Yeah, I got there eventually.
Got there, whatever. So stop being so hard on your children when they don't do their homework, because they can turn out like... Or if they talk too much in class.
We just need to stop being so hard on everybody, including ourselves.
Right.
Because when we're hard on other people, we're also most likely being even harder on ourselves, right? Like when we're critical of others, we're critical of ourselves.
I used to be so critical of people. So critical. And then I learned about this thing about how it's a reflection of what I'm doing to myself. Yeah. And it was like a punch in the stomach, right? Because I realized that the voice that I was using in my own head and the inner voice that I was using as I look at other people was pretty much the same, right? And we did this exercise at a workshop that we did this weekend where we asked people to think of a mistake that they'd made and then think about the words that come to mind when you think you've made a really bad mistake, right? So for me, it's like, oh, you're so stupid, right? That's the first thing that always comes. And so they're like, now look at someone else in the room and imagine saying it to that person.
You can't.
Right? I wouldn't say that to you.
No.
I would never say that to you.
No.
That's so rude.
Because I'm your friend and you like me.
Right. Right. But yet I would say it to myself.
Right. So what does that tell you about how you feel about yourself?
Right.
Exactly. We need to take a look at that. Honestly, I think that if every person would just, this is the only thing you do, start paying attention to the stuff that you say to yourself and start being really kind instead of really cruel, your lives would be so different. So different, because you don't realize that all that stuff that's going on in your head, those are active vibrations that are bringing things to you. Mm-hmm. When you're saying mean things about yourself, you are actively bringing more situations to yourself for you to be mean about.
So imagine, remember those clouds like in the comic books, you'd have like little thought bubble clouds? Mm-hmm. So imagine your thought bubble clouds are like these thought bubbles, okay? And then the good ones are like, golden and sparkly and shiny, and the bad ones are like dark and like crusty and nasty. And there's all these thought bubble clouds, and they're like all around you. So if you think about yourself right now today, how many of those thought bubble clouds are like those golden, beautiful, sparkly ones, and how many are the nasty ones, right? And whatever you have more of is probably the kind of life that you're going to be attracting, the kind of things that you're going to be calling to you.
And the cool thing is that once you start paying attention to it, it only takes a few minutes to change those clouds.
So how?
And as soon as you change them, you will start attracting right away.
Okay, tell us how. Give us the lowdown.
So
the secret.
So let's say secret. Don't tell anyone. So let's say that you're having a crappy day. Okay.
Which happens.
Which
even
totally
to the best
happens.
of me. I won't say you because I don't know, but.
So you're having a crap day, and you can tell it's a crap day because everything is going wrong. You are running into traffic everywhere you go. You're in a foul mood. People are rubbing you the wrong way. And you just have said to yourself, it's going to be a bad day. I just know it. Mm-hmm. That's the end of it. Normally that's where it would end, right? It would just be a bad day. You would hope that things would get better the next day. And possibly they wouldn't.
We even have sentences for that, like, when it rains, it pours.
Totally.
Right? Yeah. We as a culture, we believe that it's going to be bad, it's going to be really bad.
Yeah, and then you just have to rough it out. There's nothing you can do. So this is the secret, is that there's totally something you can do. The reason that you're having a bad day is because you're not feeling good. And the only reason that you ever don't feel good is because you're saying things to yourself that are not true and they are not for your highest good. So you are most likely saying something to yourself like, my life sucks, right?
Some people could feel like that's true.
Some people could feel like that's true. But your inner being, that part of you that's godlike, right? That part of you, your soul knows that that's not true. Your soul knows that you actually have a great life and that good things are coming for you and that the whole universe is here to provide good for you. So when you feel bad, it's because that physical part of you is thinking something different than the soul, right? That's where bad feelings come from. So all you have to do is bring your physical part to your soul. So what you can do, it sounds really weird, but what you do is you just start saying nice things to yourself, because that is what your soul is saying to yourself all the time.
Even if you don't believe it.
Even if you don't believe it. So try this on, okay? Oh, this day is just horrible and nothing ever goes my way. How does that feel?
Feels crappy.
Feels really crappy.
But sometimes it can feel true too.
It can feel true, but it feels bad.
Right? Feels
true
bad.
but bad.
Right.
Okay, now think about this. Sometimes things don't go my way, but I always know that at the end it's for something better. I feel a little bit better, right?
Ooh, I got the little goosebumps there. Yeah.
Okay, now think about this. I'm such a stupid person. There's something wrong with me. Like, I'm the worst. I don't know. That's not what people say to themselves, is it? What's the nice thing to say? I suck.
Mm-hmm.
I really suck. I'm actually a really good person. And even though things are a struggle for me right now, I know that life is only getting better.
Right.
Right?
So there's this phrase that my son uses in kindergarten, in grade 3, grade 2, whatever grade he's in. Oh my God. I don't even know what year it is. I'm so in the moment, I don't even know what year. Oh, geez. Do not become like that. So his teachers taught them this cheer that they do every morning as a team. So there's kindergartners up to grade 3 in his class. And they go, "We are respectful. We are responsible. And we always try our best. Yes."
Oh, that's so cute.
And so at home, when he's like acting out or whatever, I go, "We are," and then we sing the little chant, and it just changes the mood.
Totally.
Because he owns it, right? Like, I get choices. I get to be respectful and responsible and try my best.
Yes. So we started off kind of like down there, right? Because you're trying to get into a better mood. So you're starting to tell yourself nice things. But as you go along, as you hold on to a thought that's a little bit nicer, another even nicer thought is going to come to you. Eventually, you're going to get to the spot where you're saying to yourself, I'm freaking awesome. Like, I'm a really great person. Good things are happening to me all the time. My life is bringing abundance. I trust myself. Good things are happening to me. I'm beautiful. I'm successful. I feel great. Life is easy.
But Jenna, could I challenge you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was raised to not have a big head, to be humble, and to not toot my own horn.
How's that working out for you?
Well, I don't do it anymore. I don't really believe it anymore. But when I was little and up until like my 20s, I really believed that to be true.
And how did that work out for you?
Well, I felt like I never really got what I deserved.
Right.
Right? So I felt like I did all these great things.
Right.
But I would never, like, when people would be like, "Oh, you're so good," I'm like, no, it's nothing.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was faking it.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I really wanted to say, I worked hard for that. Thank you.
You were faking it because your soul, right? This whole idea of the soul, your soul knows that you're freaking amazing. It also knows that everybody else in the world is amazing too.
Got it.
Right? So it's not about I'm better than you because I'm doing X, Y, and Z. It's like I'm awesome and so are you.
Right.
Right? So that's the difference.
And so is that where that comes from? That whole training, because we fear that people are going to say I'm so great and nobody else is? Because that's the ego, right?
We fear that we're going to be seen as arrogant and that nobody's going to like us because we're better than them, or because we've probably grown up thinking that we don't like people that we see as better than us, right?
So it comes from the judgment that we had.
Yes, and here's the thing is that when you start to really care about your feelings, you realize that the only way to help anybody else, the only way to be of service is to feel good about yourself first. So you're not saying to yourself, I'm awesome and you suck. You're saying to yourself only that I'm awesome, right? There's no you in it. You get to this point where it doesn't really matter what other people are doing because you know that they're on their own journey, right?
So
and you think well of them, but you think well of yourself too.
So what about, sorry, I'm like asking you lots of questions.
Yeah, please.
Next one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So what about when, and we were talking about this a little bit before, when the people around you are actually not happy for you. And they're actually kind of like actively trying to derail you or put you down.
Yeah, so that'll happen and that'll come up. And it usually comes up when you're feeling a little bit like that too. Like when there's that fear that, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe there's something wrong with, maybe I'm being selfish. Maybe I'm doing that. When you have that fear, other people around you will kind of vibrate with that, right? Like they'll bounce that back to you. If someone didn't approve of what you were doing, but you didn't give a shit what they thought, it wouldn't affect you. But if you care what they think, it's going to affect you, right? So you have to get to that point where you're protecting yourself enough, firstly, to know not to spend too much time with people that actively criticize you, right? Because you don't need that.
But what if it's somebody you live with? Like, what if it's your husband, or what if it's your teenage daughter, or what if it's your mother-in-law and you live with that person?
That does happen. Yeah, that
right?
totally happens. But you have to take space for yourself. So
Right.
let's say that you see them 3 times a day, and you know that you're going to see them 3 times a day, and that's just the way it is. And you know that after those conversations, you're going to feel like shit, right? Like, you just know that that's what's going to happen. So this is what you do. You start to get some tools, right? You build up some tools. So what I do is when I'm about to go into a difficult situation, I do my 1-minute meditation. Remember Farzana Jaffer Jared, who came on our show, Farzana? She has this amazing book out called I Cheetah Meditation. And she does these meditations where she takes you to the place where you can actually meditate in 1 minute. It takes 1 minute. So that's what I do. When I'm about to go into a difficult situation, I meditate. I go into that situation, I build myself up, and I give an intention for the situation. I say, I'm going into this situation. I know that it might not be pleasant, but my intention is to feel good throughout and to leave still feeling good, right? So you set your intention, you go into the situation, you get that over with, you come out, and you disconnect from everything that happened there. You just cut it off, right? And then you can do your meditation again if you want to. It's just another minute.
This is my ninja move.
Yeah, because the thing is, when we go through life with no intentions and without realizing how important our feelings are, then we get rattled by everything.
And then you're not crafting anything. You're just like in a whirlwind of life.
So crafting your lifestyle is really being very deliberate, being very deliberate about just feeling good, because you know that the end goal is always just to feel good, and everything else that happens is going to be a cherry on top, right? I can't believe it's already been 20 minutes.
No, well, I think that's a great place to end, with the cherry on top. Right?
Yeah.
So today's your day to craft your lifestyle, what
Craft
you
your
want.
lifestyle.
And it's not about the things on the outside, it's about how you feel. And once you can get to the space of feeling good, good things start happening.
Let us know how it goes for you. Try it out this week. Just focus on feeling good. Craft your dream lifestyle by working from the inside out.
Right? We will see you next week on Today's Your Day.
And don't forget to subscribe, like, share this video if you think it'll help someone else. And tune in next week.
Bye.
Bye.